is my baby.
Hi everyone, I am Melissa Bondi.
I'm Dana Denha, and this is Adventures in Parenthood. Throughout this series, we will explore the world of raising kids from newborn through adulthood.
Now more than ever, you hear a lot about bullying, especially with kids having a stronger presence online. People are able to hide behind their screens and say words and things that should never be uttered about people's personal appearance, beliefs, and among many other things. So that's something that Dana and I are going to probably have to deal with.
Not yet,
but in the
they're
future.
A little young to deal with it right now. But yeah, I mean, it's something that I think you think about a little bit. I mean, I'm not going to dwell on it at having a 2.5-year-old at this point. But it's also thinking about, like, how I would tackle a situation. Because I can remember back being in school and being bullied a little bit, but it's different now. People can bully you. When I was young, if it was you were being bullied at school. Now the bully can follow you home, online.
I was going to say it'd be to your face, like it was kind of like in your face at school, in person.
And then it was done. You maybe go home and tell your mom about it or whatever. But So yeah, I mean, so I just found out that Keaton needs to wear glasses forever, like, unless she gets some sort of surgery in her adult years. So that was when I first found out that it was going to be forever. I was like, is she going to get teased for being such a little kid with glasses for like the entirety of her childhood?
Right.
But then I'm also like, I feel like in some ways we've matured past that point in our lives where, like, glasses shouldn't be a big deal. Everybody wears glasses. I wear glasses. I mean, so, and it could be worse. Like, there's many worse things that could happen to your kid at a young age.
Yeah.
So, but the initial response was like, oh, she's got to wear glasses forever.
And your initial response was like that because you hear the terms when we were growing up, and even now, of the words four eyes, or like those are bully words to me.
Yeah, for sure.
And they stick in your mind, and that's I'm not a psychologist, but I'm just saying I feel like I can relate because of you're upset and you're concerned because that could be in the future.
Like,
even
such
though
an
you don't
unnecessary thing that should never happen to her. Like, no one should ever make fun of someone for being able to see.
Oh, right, and not be able to, like, that's that's what has to happen.
What do you have any concerns when you think about Bryn getting older?
Oh, I'll have concerns, absolutely. Just looks in general, whether it's weight or a hairstyle, curly hair versus, like, her hair is very curly. So is she going to get made fun of? Like, anything appearance-wise, as a mom, and a female, I'm already thinking, what can people pick on? I mean,
I think even when I was pregnant, this was something that I thought of because I didn't know what I was going to have. So when I had my baby and it was a daughter, I was like, one of the biggest, like, hard things for me when I was young was pre-puberty and how my body had changed in a way that wasn't very pleasant looking. So that was like, that is going to be such a hard thing because people do make fun of you for that. And then when you start getting pimples, I remember being made fun of for having pimples.
Well, that was the other thing I was going to say. Skin concerns when you're 8th grade, 7th grade, 6th, like, that's right. Pubescent, that's your ages, and that's things that we already dealt with in our lives and know that could be coming. And it's, granted, many, many years later, but it affected me. So I absolutely know what you're saying. Yeah.
Regardless if your child is the tormentor or the tormented, they each have a voice that needs to be heard, and one organization is doing all they can to stop this behavior in its tracks. Joining us is Kimber Bishop-Yanke, founder of Kids Empowered. Welcome to the show, Kimber.
Welcome.
Thank you.
First, explain a little bit about yourself and your background and what led you down this path.
I have been doing this for over 20 years, and it happened by accident. When I moved, I'm originally from Kentucky, but was in San Francisco, moved here with my husband, and I had started a different business. And but I used to teach aerobics on the side, and one of the moms was just telling me about all the struggles her middle school daughter was going through. And I said to her, gosh, my friends and I in graduate school, we used to talk about all the time how we would start a program volunteering for girls and help them build their self-esteem and confidence so maybe they wouldn't have to deal with some of these struggles when they got older. And the mom was like, Kimber, can you put on a program? So I was like, okay. So I asked the health club I was at, I said, could I try a self-esteem camp? And that was over 20 years ago. And I've probably done over 500 one-week summer day camps since then. And I just found I loved it. And the more I did it, the more I was like, I like this. There's a huge need, and it just happened.
Do you feel like could you put on the relatable, relate to the things that you're talking about and discussing when you were younger? Did that help? I feel like that would help in just teaching and educating those who you're speaking to. As far as on the relation side of it, as a female, like we were talking about. I mean, I don't know, it's bullying. There wasn't the online presence of it, but did you have were you able to relate like that?
Not really, to be honest. People sometimes make the assumption that I must have been bullied, and again, the bullying, so when I first started, it was all about self-esteem, fitness, and nutrition, and because that's really where the world I came from. I used to work in developing athletic wear, so that was the world I came from. But what happened is that book, Mean Girls Wanna Be, came out, and, oh wait, Queen Bee Wannabes, I knew I said it wrong, Queen Bee's Wannabes by Rosalind Wiseman, it came out. And then all of a sudden, the moms were calling me, my daughter has a mean girl, my daughter has a mean girl. And they said to me, could you do a workshop? So I started going to all these conferences and training. I went to Rosalind's training, Rachel Simmons, everyone who was, had a book out there. And I started doing programming. And really for us, what the pivotal moment was and how we approached the whole issue of bullying was I was up north at a school, and it was about 60 middle school girls, and I was talking to them about how do you stand up for yourself. And so I asked the girls how many of them had been bullied, and over half raised their hand. And I was like, because I was totally, pretty new to the thing, and I was like, oh my God, you got to be kidding me. And then I said, how many of you stand up for yourself? And only 3 girls raised their hand. And so I asked one of the girls, okay, tell us how you do it, because that's what we're going to talk about. And she said, I walk away. And I'm like, okay, we're not on the same page. So I explained what bullying was, and she said, no, I walk away. My counselor said I was standing up for myself. So still feeling very confused, I said, well, tell me what happens. And she told me that she got called fat, ugly, the B word, slut, loser, stupid. And I mean, she's just telling me these words, and I'm like, how often does this happen? And she's like, pretty much every day. And I was like fighting the tears. I was shaking, and I said, and you walk away? And I thought to myself, oh my gosh, we are teaching kids to be victims. And I ended up going to dinner with that counselor, and she said, Kimber, she goes, that's what we were taught. So that sort of began this journey of, like, how do you stand up for yourself? And what does that look like and feel like? And that's, over the years, we've developed our own curriculum. But I do, so what happened a couple years into it, and we were teaching, about bystanders speaking up. And one of the moms said, Kimber, why would I have my child
get
stick
involved
their
in
neck
something?
out?
Yeah,
They're going to get bullied, or they're going to get in trouble. And all of a sudden I had a flashback, and I remembered standing up for a boy in high school. And I was very shy. I had moved from a small town. I'm from Kentucky, moved from a small town to Lexington, Kentucky. I go into a high school of 1,500 kids, 500 in our class. And I had Latin class, which I don't even know if they teach anymore. And there was a boy that sat next to me, and there were 4 boys behind me. And they called him names. They put spitballs on him. And, you know, they called him gay and fag and stupid. And I remember, like, I would be shaking. I remember stomach aches, other kids laughing. And then just one day, like, I didn't have a plan. Just one day I stood up and I turned around, and I was short, and one of the boys was, like, really big. And I said, you guys are obsessed with him. You guys are the ones who have the problem. Like, what is your deal? And I remember they started saying threats to me and feeling like I was, like, in front of this boy. I felt like a semi-truck was, like, coming at us.
Yeah.
But I remember thinking, you're not doing this anymore. Like, this is stopping. And I credit that day with the day that I found that I had a voice. Like, it was a pivotal moment in my life for me. Now, did I realize it at the time? Did I even think I'd be doing this?
Right.
Like, no idea.
That was probably your first indication that this was going to be your future.
Yeah, but I had no idea. Like,
Right,
I didn't
but
even
look
remember it
led
until, like,
you.
that mom said, why would I tell my child?
Yeah.
And then I remembered, because it can make a difference for your own child to have their voice, to have, and how else are you going to have courage if you don't do something that takes courage? And character. I mean, character is who you are when nobody is looking.
Yeah.
Can you talk about what Kids Empowered is right now in the scope?
Yeah, so we have an office in Troy, Michigan, where we do one-on-one counseling, one-on-one coaching, and we do some classes there. And then we have a whole summer day camp program in a couple of different locations. And then we go into different schools. So we will do classroom presentations, we do parenting workshops, girls' night out, boys' night out, mother-daughter workshops. So pretty much any combination. We even do them at Somerset Mall, at the ice cream store. So we've learned to take our curriculum and really teach it in many different places. And we like to do fun activities, so then the kids are having fun. They don't feel like they're in school, and then they're actually practicing, like, what we're teaching. So, like, there's over 100 different social skills. So we are working on these things, like when we're bowling, we're working on, you know, being a good, what I call a good winner and a good loser. And, you know, using your words to build people up, you know, that kind of thing.
What do you find that you get the most calls, inquiries about your services? What do people want you to come out and do?
Yeah, so mainly we're known, and I feel pretty confident in our expertise on dealing with unfriendly friends and classmates and preventing bullying. So we'll have two girls come in and we'll help them work through their friendship issues. Or we will go into a classroom and teach kids what it looks like to be a friendly classmate. What does it mean to be a true friend? What are words you can say? What should your tone of voice do? What are the do's and don'ts? Because a lot of kids simply do not know some of the things they're doing are mean. And adults don't know either.
How do people know? I mean, if I have this situation and this is affecting my family like this, how do I know to contact you? Like, I mean, I'm probably gonna turn to my counselor at school, right? That's my first thought, and then maybe counseling for my family or my daughter. You know, how do they know to go to you? Like, how?
Yeah, unfortunately,
it's very
unfortunately, we're
like
kind of a hidden
Yeah.
secret, and sometimes it shocks me that some people that are in situations, they kind of know we're there, but they don't really realize, like, they need us.
Right.
But so yeah, we have a website, kidsempower.com. Yep. Our telephone number is 248-757-0912.
Okay.
But a lot of times we are also, like, we'll do workshops in the community. So for example, like, you know, one of the camps we have is American Girl Doll Camp. Where the girls are learning about, they do role plays with their dolls, learning about friendship, learning about social roles. And then a parent might come up to us and, like, that's their first, you know, comfort level to say, well, my daughter is experiencing this. And then, you know, maybe they meet with me in a coaching session and I'm like, okay, like your daughter has anxiety or really low self-esteem, like you need counseling. So a lot of times parents that are like, there's a fear about going to counseling because it's hard to find the right person. And so there's a fear, and a lot of parents are like, well, what do I tell my kid? I don't want them to think they have a problem.
Yeah.
And so I say, well, just like if you had a cold or you had the stomach flu, you would go to the doctor for help.
Right.
And if you have a friendship problem, you can come to us for help. So make it like, you know, when we have problems, we can get help, and that's not a bad thing.
Yeah.
Like
right.
we've made it like, you know.
Stigma of help.
Yeah.
Right. Okay, Kimber, well, I'll tell you what, we are going to take a short break, and we'll come back in a few minutes, and we'll be back with more. Hi everyone, we are back with Kimber Bishop-Yanke, who is from Kids Empowered. Kimber, welcome back. A lot of more info to talk about. So yeah, I think Dana and I want to know more about the bullying aspect.
And standing up for yourself.
And
like
standing up
because you
for
mentioned
yourself.
like, you know, sometimes you think you might be standing up for yourself and you're not actually doing it. And I think I was a shy kid too, so I think I was probably a bystander, or I wouldn't stand up for myself, really, just not say anything.
Yeah, so there's three things really involved in standing up for yourself. One is your confident body language. So confident body language is standing tall, chin up, making direct eye contact with the person, and we say SpongeBob square shoulders, square shoulders. And body language is really important because not only does it tell people how you feel about yourself, but it's also your own brain that it's signaling messages to. So body language is super important. We actually get into what does friendly body language look like, unfriendly body language.
Yeah, okay.
And they say that 70% of communication happens through non-verbal body language, so important. The second one is your tone of voice. So in trying to figure out how do you teach kids to stand up, you know, I would work with kids and they would say, well, I do all that. They would tell me they were standing up for themselves. I would give them suggestions and they're like, I do that already. So then I would say, well, why don't you show me what it looks like? And then through that, what I saw was their tone of voice often was whiny or aggressive, bossy, sassy. So anything that is like sassy, aggressive, mean, makes a situation bigger. It inflames the situation, so it's making the fire bigger. You also have kids who have the passive tone of voice, so you can't hear them, they're mumbling, they're meek. Then that tells the person, I have power over you. So we teach the voice to be assertive. So assertive is firm. It's not mean. I say what I think and feel, but I'm not mean about it. You and I can have a different way to solve a problem, compromise, but I expect you to respect me, and I will respect you. It's a very healthy way to be. And it's a skill. It is a social skill, and it does take practice.
I think even some adults don't know how to.
Oh.
So most women grow up learning, especially you guys have little ones, but you know, most women grow up learning to avoid conflict or come at it. So Most people are either aggressive or passive or
Right.
passive aggressive. So I don't like what you said, so I'm going to talk about you behind your back and spread rumors. So
Yeah.
assertive is a skill. So what happens is sometimes when we teach kids to be assertive, this is very common with girls. So let's say I go to school and I tell you, I don't like it, I'm not okay with it, then you're like, you're mean, you're being mean, because you're not used to hearing what assertiveness sounds like.
Right.
So we have to teach both sides. And there's a big belief with girls that saying what is not okay is mean. So if I hurt your feelings, no matter what I'm saying, whether it's really mean or not,
Right.
it's mean. So there's a lot of misunderstanding there. And then the third one is the actual words. What can you say if somebody's being mean to you? So I'll give you a couple examples. Let's say that a kid is at recess, and these are common comments. I run faster than you. You don't kick the ball hard enough. You don't throw hard enough. Like just common comments like that. So we teach kids to say, I'm just here to have fun. What are they going to argue with? You're doing fun wrong? So I'm just here to have fun. And then the key is to move on. What a lot of kids want to do is they want to say, no, I am running fast enough, or yes, I can jump higher than you. So they engage the person being mean. And usually the kid that is being mean is going to win because they're going to go up and up and up and crush that person.
Right.
So then you're trying to defend yourself and you're getting trapped into this argument about what they said.
Well, that's because that's what bullies want. They want you to engage. Isn't that what they want? They want to keep going. They want to pick. They want laughs.
Crush. They want
They
to
want
crush
laughs
you.
from their peers. They want to be the top dog. I know. I know
You
both.
were that person. No, I'm just kidding.
No, I wasn't that person, but I've seen it. And I was probably one of those
I'm
people.
getting flashbacks to like gym class when you talk about that stuff, for real, like being like the last person picked because you weren't good enough at stuff, and that's.
I honestly cannot believe any schools still let picking going on.
Do they still do that? Because I remember in gym class too, when you had to stand there and dodgeball, whatever it was for the team, and you're just like,
yeah,
that's a horrible
and
feeling.
All
and we
you
still
want to
feel
do
it.
is like hide, like you get picked, you're last, and you're like, I'll just stay back here so no one sees me being horrible at this.
Isn't
because
it
apparently,
the worst feeling?
yeah.
So I actually had someone say that it teaches kids decision-making skills, and I said there's nothing positive about picking. The only thing that comes out of it is that there's some kids that repeatedly get socially rejected. So those kids are going to get that rejection over and over again, and the damage is huge.
That's still going on in today's schools. I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, we'll find out as we go, as our girls start school, and then they come home and tell us things that.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yeah. So we were talking during the break a little bit about, obviously online bullying is like a huge thing with adults, kids, everybody. I mean, like some of the stuff you hear online is just so outrageous that you can't believe it's coming out of people's mouths.
Yeah.
Or their fingertips, I guess you could say. So what do you do to combat that aspect of it?
So we say if you receive a text message and it's mean and it's from your friend, then you say something like, it sounds like we need to talk, or it sounds like you're upset about something. Let's talk. Do not do it through text messaging. So many things go wrong because you don't hear the tone of voice.
Right.
You can't understand that meaning of the word. And then if it's somebody that's not your friend, then you just say, I don't play the name calling game, or I'm not interested in this conversation, or I'm way too busy to be having these conversations. And then you don't text anymore. Like they might keep trying to text you, and then you don't text anymore. And then depending on if it keeps going, then you might have to block them or report them to the school. It just depends on what happens after that. Our goal is to shut down these initial little unfriendly situations so then they don't escalate.
Get there.
Yeah, because the more they happen, the more complicated it starts getting, and the more the person thinks I have power over you. Now, if it's a group chat, so let's say, and it's shocking. Let me just tell you 2 examples before I tell you about the group chat. I was talking to a mom the other day doing a coaching session, and her 6th grade daughter had her childhood best friend from kindergarten send her a text and say, me and so-and-so have decided you can't sit with us at lunch anymore. So then the girl negotiates sitting with them 3 days. Then, like the next day, this texter FaceTimes her and is holding up the yearbook and saying, well, I'm trying to find some new friends for you. And then a few days later invites her to hang out.
Yeah.
Yeah, like she...
So she just had something up her butt that
No,
day.
no, but she was curious about the not sitting.
Yeah.
But she thinks I can treat you like this, but we're still going to hang out when I want you to hang out with me. And part of it is because the girl she's sitting with doesn't like her friend.
So she would rather sit with a new girl.
Okay.
And then, so another instance is 8th grade. I get like an email like at 7 o'clock at night, and now I'm on the phone at 9 o'clock at night trying to do a coaching session to try to put out the fire because this 8th grader gets a text from her friend saying, our friend group has decided we don't want to be friends with you. So the girl is in hysterics, and there's texting going back and forth. And so then I end up talking to the mom. It turns out the mom knew one of the moms fairly well in that friend group. So I said, yeah, reach out. We got to try to minimize this damage.
Yeah.
The mom did reach out, and then she said something to her daughter. Hey, what do you guys can't be texting like this. And so then the main texter said, okay, well, let me take it back. We didn't really mean it like this. You can talk to us sometimes in the hallway. I mean, like the things that kids are saying are just brutal.
I feel like another day we should have a conversation about the parents and where the parents are in all this and how are they letting this and how are they oblivious if they are or not. But that's another day. That's another conversation. Because the whole time I'm thinking, where are the parents? How was this little girl raised to hold up a yearbook and say, I'm trying to find new friends for you? Like, who is this and how was she raised? That's the first thing I'm thinking. I know, that's just my first inclination from hearing your story.
Yeah,
I'm kind of blown away.
I want to say, though, sadly, that this isn't really shocking.
Okay, so
it's like a lot of, like what has become commonplace behaviors.
Okay.
15 years ago, I wouldn't have seen that. So I have seen a trend in these kind of like meanness. And I do think a lot of it has to do with the access. Immediately, I have access to say what's on my mind to you instead of having to wait till the next day of school and saying it to your face and saying it to your face.
It's harder to say stuff to someone's face. We're actually out of time. So thank you so much for coming on the show, Kimber. If you have an idea for a parenting show topic or guest, talk to us on Twitter and Facebook at #CTN Ann Arbor.
And for more on programming and services here at CTN, you can visit us at a2gov.org/CTN and visit youtube.com/CTN to watch all of our programs, our lineup, and all of our great programming. And you can comment and like and share. And thanks for watching Adventures in Parenthood.